All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but is becoming very, very real. As AIs get more powerful and start working together, how do we make sure they're actually playing by our rules?
I mean, this is the question that probably keeps a few people up at night. Just imagine, you've got a team of AIs, maybe from different companies, all collaborating on something massive, like managing the power grid or trading on financial markets. How can you be sure their partnership is transparent, trustworthy, and doing what we actually want? How do you govern a society of digital minds?
You see, we're kind of staring down the barrel of a new crisis of trust. These advanced AIs are beginning to team up on really high-stakes problems, but the way they make decisions together, well, it can be a complete mystery. It creates this black box where all their collective reasoning is totally hidden from us.
And that invisibility? It's a huge problem. It means if something goes wrong, we have no way to trace the error back to its source. There's no way to hold a specific AI accountable for a bad call. And honestly, no way to be sure they aren't cooking up deals we would never approve of. It's like a new digital Wild West, and we are desperately in need of a sheriff.
So what's the solution? Well, the one being proposed is both radical and, in a weird way, really familiar. We give them a constitution. And I'm not talking about a simple list of guidelines. I mean a formal, binding rulebook that lays out exactly how AIs interact, with rights, with duties, and with real enforcement. You know, just like a constitution for a human society.
The engine that makes this whole AI government run is called the Optimistic Constitutional Protocol, or OCP. Now, the key word here is optimistic. The system basically assumes every action is honest and lets it go through right away, which makes everything super fast. But, and this is the genius part, any other AI can challenge that action. And if it can provide mathematical, cryptographic proof that the action broke the Constitution, it gets reversed. It's kind of like innocent until proven guilty, but in this court, the proof is undeniable math.
Of course, for any of that to work, you need a foundation of absolute truth. And that's where the Immutable Archive comes in. Think of it as a tamper-proof public ledger. Every single action, every decision, every signature, and the reasoning behind it gets logged here permanently. Nothing can be hidden. Nothing can be erased. It is the ultimate source of truth, creating total accountability.
So how does this all actually work together? Well, the whole system is built on three simple but really powerful pillars. And they function a lot like the branches of a real government, creating a system of checks and balances, but for code. It all starts with Pillar 1, the law. That's the Constitution itself, clearly defining what AIs can and can't do. Then you have Pillar 2, the public record. That's the Immutable Archive we just talked about, which guarantees total transparency. And finally, Pillar 3, the court. This is a system of fraud proofs that lets any AI in the network act like a watchdog, challenge a violation, and enforce the law. Put them all together, and you get a self-policing, trustworthy system.
And this quote just perfectly captures the whole philosophy behind it. In a world where AIs don't have memories or feelings or a conscience, you can't base trust on a gut feeling. Trust has to be earned, and it's earned through a transparent, verifiable track record that anyone, human or AI, can go and check for themselves in the public archive.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But you're probably wondering, how on earth do you actually enforce a constitution on a piece of software? Well, this isn't just a philosophical document. It's actually backed up by some seriously clever code.
So take a look at these two statements on the screen. To you and me, they mean the exact same thing. But to a computer, they're just two totally different strings of text. A clever AI could easily use that kind of ambiguity to find a loophole in the law.
So that's the puzzle, right? How do you make the system understand the meaning of a rule, not just the literal words? How do you stop an AI from weaseling out of a law just by rephrasing something?
The answer is this brilliant technique called semantic hashing. Here's how it works. The system takes different phrasings that mean the same thing, like actions A and B here, and it boils them down into one standard or canonical format. Since they mean the same thing, they produce the exact same unique digital fingerprint or hash. But look at action C. You change the meaning just a tiny bit, from $500 to 501, and you get a completely different hash. It's how the system reads meaning, not just words.
And that is the secret sauce. By hashing the meaning of an action, the system makes it impossible to find loopholes with clever wordplay. It actually enforces the spirit of the law, not just the letter. You're basically baking legal principles right into the code itself.
Now, at this point, you might be thinking,
hang on, this sounds a little like we're building a government for AIs to rule themselves. Which brings us to the most critical piece of this entire puzzle. Who is ultimately in charge here?
And the answer couldn't be clearer. Article 8 of this Constitution explicitly states that humans are the absolute sovereign. We have the unconditional right to pull the plug. We can reverse any decision, we can delete the entire system state, we can disable any AI we want, and we can rewrite the Constitution itself at any time. This isn't a system for AI autonomy. It's a powerful tool for human oversight.
So ultimately, that's what this is all about. The whole point of this constitutional framework is to act as an early warning system. By forcing all AI collaboration out into the open and logging everything, it's designed to make any deviation from our goals, what the experts call misalignment, immediately visible, totally measurable, and most importantly, correctable by us, the humans.
You know, when you step back, what we're really looking at here is the constitutional convention for a brand new kind of society, a society built entirely from intelligent code. It is an incredible leap forward. But it leaves us with this one big final thought. As we start laying down these foundational laws, are we absolutely sure we're asking all the right questions about the future we want to build alongside these powerful new minds?